Hello, welcome to Cat Switch Tech or Tech Edition. This is episode 1 of the new Cat Switch channel that focuses on technology. So lots of Microsoft stuff, lots tech reviews, new gadgets, unboxing, but primarily going to be focused on Microsoft products, whether it's ConfigMan, MECM, SCCM to MDT, to Azure, EMS, and 365 security. So today's episode, and this is episode 1, so please like and subscribe, hit that bell button to get notified. And so today we are going to be just talking about app deployment. So this is one of the most common questions I get asked about is how to do app deployment. So today's episode is basically just looking at how to locally install an application in the enterprise mode or enterprise deployment scheme, whether it's a setup.exe or a MSI file. And then second episode we'll be looking at ConfigMan, and third episode we'll be looking at Endpoint Manager. So let's hop to it, cat to it, tech cat to it. So I've just to kind of give you a little bit of background information about this environment. This environment I'm going to be using is Microsoft's free Windows and Office 365 deployment lab kit. They come out with a new one every 6 months. It's free for 6 months. Basically, it has a ConfigMan, domain controller, MDT, internet availability, and so it's it lasts for 6 months, and it's got the latest and greatest SCCM version. And this one will have not the latest version of SCCM, but this is the Windows 10 one. They've now got the Windows 11 one, but this is with MECM or ConfigMan 2111, which is the latest. So we're just using one of the Windows 10 VMs, or I'm sorry, Windows 11 VMs that I had set up for it, or they get set up as part of it. So you can see it's just using a trial license. So the application. So let's get into it here. All right. So I get asked this a lot. We've got we're a environment, we want to deploy out an application. So what, how do we do that? What are the best practices? What are the methods of that? And the easy answer is it's typically not too complicated. Depending on the vendor, it can be. But I was going to start with 7-zip. So, it's just kind of one of the more basic ones, and it's easy and free to download, and not too big either. So let's go. I already downloaded it. So, and I got the MSI as well as the setup.exe, but we'll use the MSI because that's typically what we're going with if we can, is using the MSI. All right, so we're just going to put this. I like to do, and again, there's no right or wrong answer here in this particular type. So I just like to put stuff under an install folder, and then just go from there. See install. Just kind of keep it easy. Keep it, So let's just do a folder. So this will be apps. Looks like I have a ConfigMan client install stuff there. So, and then we'll call this 7-zip. And I like to have 2 folders, build. So this is where I actually build it, and then the source. So we'll put the source in here. And we'll also put the build as the same. All right, so an MSI file. All right, so we need to figure out what the command line installs are going to be. So this is an MSI file, so hopefully it follows Microsoft's best practice, but let's find out. Let's get a little bit of data here. This isn't always 100% accurate, of course, depending on the vendor, but for the most part, it is. So we'll change directory to it, CD, and then the name of the folder, CD apps, 7-zip. Build. There you go. And then now we've got the MSI file. So MSI exec.exe /I for install, quote, and then so if we start typing the name of the MSI and then do tab, it'll fill it out for us, and then /? So this should then give us the commands. So we can see this is what we typically expect for an MSI file. /quiet or /q, and then in for no UI. So we're going to do /q in for no install. And if there's any kind of special commands or switches in here, they would also hopefully be listed, or typically are. But these look like just kind of our kind of basic MSI commands, so that's not bad. All right, so let's so now we've got that. So Q for quiet, N for no GUI, no restart, so that way we don't allow any kind of reboot, because we don't want to reboot the user's computer. Don't want to that unless we're controlling that with config manager, Intune, or endpoint manager. /L does logging, and then *V for verbose logging, because typically I want logs. When I'm first trying to build this, I want to try to understand and make sure that it's working, and kind of gather all the data I can. So every Windows device, for as far back as I can remember, has had a Windows temp directory. So I just throw the log in Windows temp because it's already there. Don't have to worry about making it. And then I like to do, for the name of the log, install if you're installing, or uninstall if you're uninstalling, and then vendor version architecture.log, that kind of thing. So it's 7-zip, and then it looks like 2107x64.log, and so this will install it, and then it'll create that log in the Windows temp directory. If you have config man, you can use CM trace if you have licenses for that. If not, Notepad will work. But I typically use CM trace, of course, because I work in config man environments. So let's go ahead and try it. Alright, so if we do have, and we should, CM trace, so I've got a config man environment, because of course config man comes with this lab kit. I was able to grab CM trace. Next episode we'll review where that is and stored, since you will have access to this if you're using this lab. So we can open up CM trace, and then we want to go to the Windows temp directory, because that's where we're putting out our log file. Temp, and then I know the name of the log because I created it, and error code status 0. So error code 0 in return codes is success. So that should have installed. So let's look to see if we see it. New 7-zip. So we know the command line now. So if we're going to build it into config man, or MDT, or Intune, or any other third-party MDM that you can use to push out apps, case, manage engine, like there's lots of different ones that will work. I usually, and again, this is not, don't have to kind of thing, but for simplicity, I'll do the same thing where I have a batch file, basic batch file. So 7-zip 2107x64.cmd, and then we'll basically take that command and then put it in the batch file. So when we call it in config man, or we call it in Endpoint Manager, we can just call the batch file basically. So again, simple, msiex.exe/I, and then right click and rename, so I can grab the name of it, and then QN for quiet note, and then /no restart, and then /L *V for verbose logging, and then where do we want to put the log? Windows temp, and then what do we want to call the log? So 7-zip 2107x64.log. So in theory that should also work, since we just ran that command and it ran successfully. And file save. And that should be it. So that's a kind of a real quick, down and dirty way to figure out how to build a basic, or how to deploy an application silently. In this case, an MSI. In this example, 7-zip, we did the / question mark so we could pull the command line to see if it's anything different. Typically, this does work. Of course, not 99.9% of the time it works, but vendors can be different, of course, and you might have to contact the vendor. to get, and find out what the command is, whether it's wise or install shield, that kind of stuff, or just the vendor themselves to figure out. And then we did, traditional MSI command /IDO install /x would be uninstall our MSI file in this case, and then /qn for quiet, no GUI, /no restart, so it doesn't allow if it did, it doesn't allow it to restart, because we don't want to do that if somebody's using the machine or without controlling anyway. And then L*V for the verbose logging, and then where do we want to put the .log. So next episode 2, we will cover how to build this in the config man using this free lab environment from Microsoft. It lasts for 6 months, and so it's freely available to the public. So you can start learning about app deployment, config man, MDT, and hopefully help people that like I got help along the way. So thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. It really does help. Hit that bell button to get notified. We do videos every week. This is our new Cat Switch Tech channel. We'll be covering Microsoft technologies as well as tech gadgets, all that fun stuff. So hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.